For today, I thought we would have a little look at a couple of articles that took my interest, as I think we should all have a little laugh at the continued theme of people taking offence unnecessarily, but also things that, when I read them, made me chuckle nonetheless. Unfortunately, due to a rather sore throat, I won't be able to do any actual chuckling, but I'm sure I don't need to insert a laugh track for you to know when something really stupid crops up. The first story I thought we would address comes from the lovely, super funny, happy land of Germany, where a man called Dominik Bayer, I'm sure I butchered that pronunciation, but quite frankly, I don't care. He is suing a region in Bavaria called Eichstätt. I am not apologising for that pronunciation, because they have created female-only parking spots set up in well-lit areas. The reason for this is that in 2016 a woman was raped in that town. Now, the rather unusual thing about all of this is that it is an official sign done by the town, but there is no legal implications for it, meaning literally anyone can actually park there, kind of like in supermarket car parks, where even if it says disabled or adult and children, anyone will park there anyway. But the obvious argument now crops up. Why should this sign exist? Because it does on the face of it imply that women cannot look after themselves, which is a bit prejudiced towards women and a bit condescending, and also an odd way of addressing, handling, and of course subsequently dealing with sexual assault in your town, because I don't believe a parking spot in a well-lit area helps at all. In fact, it's just another place for people to go dogging, isn't it? Now, town officials have said that men will not be punished for parking there, which makes you think, why even have this sign in the first place? It is a gender exclusionary sign, and you've set it up to protect women by giving them preferential treatment in parking in case of any potential sexual assault in the future, so they can see predators in a better light. Now, the legal officer, Hans Bittel, said the female parking spots were there on safety grounds, and the signs were purely a suggestion, with him being quoted as saying, "It is statistically proven that more women are the victims of violent crime than men." It is entirely possible that they are quite right. However, what I find, and I want to point out as quite irritating, is that when you search for statistics on domestic violence in Germany, most of the stats bring up violence against women, as opposed to gender-based domestic violence, which would then show both genders. Even the press releases mentioned on the police websites was quite useless. All in all, I think we can all agree here that the town in question, Eichstätt, yes, I'm a Brit and I can't pronounce that word, I'm okay with this, hasn't really tackled the crime itself. They haven't addressed how best to resolve and prevent this kind of crime from taking place. All they've done is set up a sign that has no legal basis, but implies it because they have not made it clear to the people it is just a suggestion, and only made it clear that it was in fact a suggestion when pressed on it, because people were getting irritated by this obvious gender bias. The next story I thought we'd have a look at is something that I think is worth laughing at. This is David Matheson. He was once a very much prominent Mormon conversion therapist, not the electroshock therapy type, so, you know, he's not a close friend of Mike Pence's. One of the major claims that David Matheson made throughout his career as a conversion therapist for the Mormon Church, is it a church? Doesn't matter, is that he helped gay men remain in heterosexual marriages. In a rather interesting twist, though, he now himself is looking for a boyfriend, and the only reason this story even broke was after an LGBT non-profit Truth Wins Out obtained a private Facebook post made by a conversion therapy advocate called Rich Weiler, which stated that Matheson says that living a single celibate life just isn't feasible for him, so he is seeking a male partner. So while he was busy helping the dreaded gays stay with the whammons, I assume by giving them Viagra, he himself was staying celibate because he didn't want to give in to his sexual desires. I mean, you look at this man, can't you tell? He is brim full of testosterone, and he needs that release. Matheson then went on to confirm on Tuesday, last week, with a Facebook post of his own. A year ago I realised I had to make substantial changes in my life. I realised I couldn't stay in my marriage any longer, and I realised that it was time for me to affirm myself as gay. I enjoyed a happy and fulfilling marriage with my wife for many years, who will undoubtedly feel very much betrayed by all of this, because you were one of the gays, and you were lying to her. We're not in the 80s anymore, you know. It was a beautiful relationship, and being straight became a core part of my identity. But it was a lie. I'm going to skip a few paragraphs and go towards this one. Toward the end of this decline, I also realised that being in an intimate relationship with a man was no longer something I wanted to avoid. It had to become a non-negotiable need. He finishes up his rather long statement with, "If my coming out could change one thing, other than my own life, it would be to encourage people to really own and feel confident about their life and to pursue it without fear or shame, regardless of what others might think." Interestingly enough, he's got a lot of very positive feedback about this. Okay, the expressions emoji thing is misleading, but the comments below are very positive. But I still think it's very funny that somebody that was once a Mormon conversion therapist and beat the gay out of the gays to make them hetero as fuck has himself had to turn his back on his career, let's call it that, so as to best embrace the kind of man he is, one of the gays. I hope you find happiness regardless, and I hope your wife, ex-wife, also finds happiness. As a final story that really amused me, I wanted to talk about the United Arab Emirates, who hold in Dubai a Gender Balance Index Awards ceremony. Now this ceremony is glorious. Awards are handed out and people are lauded for being truly amazing people. Now the United Arab Emirates are hardly known for gender equality, and this is no exception, because awards in all categories were handed to men by the Vice President of the United Arab Emirates. There was a complete lack of winners. The Vice President's daughter was recognized for her work, but she was not present in any picture. I thought this was funny because it's nice to see the United Arab Emirates do things for gender equality and have an annual Gender Balance Council and Gender Equalities Awards at the Gender Balance Index Awards ceremony.
No matter how much you try to just get us out of the picture, as you've learned, we're like a fungus, because we're going to keep procreating and keep 50% of us are going to keep coming out of a vagina, you know, so if I could have...
But the complete lack of representation is a damning statement, and amusing nonetheless. I'll let you guys have fun with these pictures, because honestly, I think this could win some awards for best meme. Have fun. Anyway, I'm going to rest my voice because honestly, it is starting to hurt. I hope you all have a lovely day, and no, I'm not sick, I just have a sore throat, and thank you all for listening.